Yo guys, what's going on? It's Acez here today with episode number 3 of the PVE podcast, the podcast versus everyone. Do me a huge favor, make sure you're dropping a like on this episode here today, and of course, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more Tarkov PVE content and more Tarkov podcasts like this one. The AC is on. I've heard it in a couple of my videos recently. I don't know why sometimes it decides to be louder than other times, but that's just kind of how it is. It is hot as hell today, probably in the high 90s. It was like 95, 96 today. It's been hot. I think here at the setup, it's around 80, 81 with the AC being on the entire day. So it's been a little bit of a struggle. It's a little warm, but I decided we got to sit down, do a podcast for you guys. It's been a little bit. I don't know exactly how long. I'm sure I could figure that information out here very, very quickly. You know, it's a beautiful thing that I can just kind of do whatever in these podcasts. Like I can go to my channel and look something up and I don't have to cut. I don't have to do anything like that. It's a normal podcast experience. We go to the podcast tab on the channel, which is pretty cool. 11 days ago, the last one was recorded on July 3rd, but was probably uploaded on July 4th. This one should go live tonight. I think this will go live. I'm recording this on the 15th. Probably will go live tonight, maybe near like 9 p.m. or something like that Eastern time. At least that's the goal. Not sure if this one's going to be as long as the first two. I'm going to be completely honest. I've just been kind of stressed out. And, I don't know if I want to sit up here and yap for, 100 minutes or so. But if I do, great. If I don't, that's kind of why. Just got a lot going on. But just wanted to sit down, kind of relax, talk about some Tarkov stuff with you guys. And just kind of go over how I'm feeling about the game. We got a lot of exciting stuff to talk about for sure. And you know the vibe here. We're gonna give you the blueprint of what this episode is gonna contain, and you can kind of skip to that if that's what you're interested in specifically, or you can listen to the entire thing. I know a bunch of you guys listen while you're working, while you're driving to work, or while you're just chilling in bed or waiting for your next raid to load up. Whatever the case is, I do appreciate you stopping by. Let's hop into the blueprint for the episode. So we're gonna be talking about Ref once again coming to PVE. We're gonna talk about why people are kind of getting over it and now they don't really seem to care. We're going to talk about that loot nerf. We're going to talk about bosses having key cards again. I got a little bit of hate today on the video from that, saying that they've always had key cards. No, they haven't. Pockets have been bugged on and off. And when the pockets are bugged, you can not get loot out of the pockets. So, for example, during the boss event where pockets were working because GP coins were spawning in them, you could have gotten some of those key cards. So we'll go into that a little more in depth. But, people were trying to call me out saying, bosses always had key cards in PvE. Not always. Maybe at some points, but not always. We have people starting to get burnt out and take breaks. And I was kind of falling into the same thing. But once I gave myself a goal, last night, for example, we'll talk about it more. But last night I gave myself a goal and what I wanted to do when I hopped on Tarkov. And I ended up playing for like 4 hours straight. So, you have to give your mind something to do when you get on Tarkov if you're at the end game. If you're not at the end game, then you have plenty to do. We have, will PvE wipe with the release of 1.0? Short answer is no, at least in my opinion. Then we're going to talk about Prestige Mode. We're going to kind of break this down a lot more in depth. We're going to talk about why I think it needs to come as soon as possible, even as soon as patch 15, even though I know it won't. I think we need to see it, start being worked on as soon as possible. And we should see Prestige Mode give out different awards or rewards as you either progress or have an option to give out better rewards if you choose to maybe play on a better difficulty. Whether you want to play on hard mode or whether you want to not reset your skills. Like, let's say, maybe you want to reset your skills and you get an extra prestige token to use on a trade or something like that. Or you could have the option to not reset your skills, but maybe you have to give up a prestige token, something like that. And then we're going to be talking about the new AI and why I think it's really good for the combat of Tarkov and PvE, but why I think it's terrible for the casual experience. Then we're going to continue on that thought and why it might be a good thing overall. Then we're going to talk about why I think we need an event as soon as possible. We need something. We need something to fill the void right now. And then we are going to talk about patch 0.15 and why I think it'll be interesting for new players that are mainly attracted to the PvE side of the game. And then I have listed here anything else we think of. So maybe we could go a little more into depth about maybe the actual PvP side of the new patch upcoming, how there's a ton of new players back with PvE. Are they going to go try PvP? Something like that. And that will be pretty much it for the Tarkov side of things. We'll have our normal ad break, which is, of course, just sponsored by me. And then we'll have some YouTube stuff. We'll talk about hitting 25K. We'll talk about when we're going to hit 100K. We'll just talk about the support in general. The new PC, which is getting closer every single podcast. It's getting closer and closer, and I'm getting more excited. We're going to touch on Uncut and Unheard. We're going to touch on the Hardcore series that should be coming, assuming that PvE does get released standalone. And then I'm going to talk about the rules for the Hardcore, because I have my own set of rules. And that's it for now. So in the first one, I did talk about how, these podcasts, I wanted to include more of like a personal side of it towards the end. So I would talk about Tarkov, then I talk about YouTube stuff, and then talk about personal stuff. The last episode, I don't think I really included anything. And this episode, I originally was going to talk about personal stuff, but I decided I wanted to leave it out. I definitely don't want to put my IRL stressors into video format or audio format, I guess in this case. And I just don't want to put it on you guys, man. Like, if I got something going on, you don't need to know about it. Like, that's for me to know, and that's for me to deal with. You guys got your own shit going on. So, I don't need to be talking really like personal things. Maybe if I have something cool that happens personally, I could definitely talk about it. But, as for, like I said at the very beginning of the video, I've been stressed as hell lately. I don't need to come up here and talk about it. It's not really your guys' problem. So I'm not going to put that stress on you. It's not really something I want to do. As a dude, I feel like it's my responsibility to figure my shit out. So I've kind of just decided, let's stray away from that. Let's just keep it, strictly Tarkov and YouTube stuff. Let's keep the good vibes flowing. And let's just leave, like, any potential negativity at the door. Like, I already say I don't talk about politics or nothing like that. And we could definitely talk some politics based on current events in at least the United States. But I'm not going to. So let's hop right into it, man. Let's talk about Ref. And will he ever come to PvE mode? I'm going to be honest. The way it's looking, it's no. And that might not actually be that bad of a thing. Because I'm kind of not interested in it anymore. Mainly because I don't really see too much value with the GP coins. And of course, I would love to hop in Arena and play it from time to time. But it's to a point now where I just really don't care. And that's kind of the general consensus, it seems, for a lot of people. After we got over the shock value of PvE's not getting ref whatsoever, and we've had a couple patches now, and Arena has had a couple patches, it's kind of to the point where it seems like we either just simply do not care, or we're just over it and we've accepted the fact that we're probably not gonna get ref. If we do, great. I think it'll add another dynamic, and it'll give PvE players a place to go get a little bit of that combat. But with the new AI, I don't really think it's needed at all. But I just don't think ref's gonna be coming to PvE. It was supposed to. We know that from the Tarkov TV when ref was first announced. Obviously, we don't have him. It's been a while now. I just don't think we're going to get it, personally. But I could be proved wrong, obviously, and that would be great, because any extra content is good content. We will always take more content to enjoy and play. But it just kind of seems like people are over it, man, and we just don't care. If it does come, will I be making content for it? Will I be uploading Arena stuff? It really depends. The Arena stuff that I uploaded when Arena first dropped, I think I uploaded like 2 or 3 videos, and like I said, we can check that now, which is pretty dope. But let's go ahead and check out. I'm gonna have to scroll far back. I'm gonna have to genuinely go pretty far back, because we have been uploading 3 videos a day for the last 2 months, I think. I mean, I've been grinding. Let me see if I can find this real quick. Let's see. Yeah, okay, here we go. So I uploaded 2 Arena videos, and one was me going 16-2 with the PP19, and then I uploaded a video of a crazy comeback. I think we were down like 4-0, and we came back 1-5-4. The comeback video, I actually screwed up the upload, it was scheduled out, but I didn't finish the thumbnail and I didn't finish the title. So it was literally called Arena Comeback, and that was the title of it. There was nothing else. There was no tags. There was no data. So that video completely flopped, and that was just on me. Simply my fault. The PP19 video did okay with 730 views, but you know, would people be interested in watching Arena long term? I don't know. It seems like there's a pretty big interest in the Uncut and Unheard series, so I don't know if that would actually succeed or not. But I'm sure if I had a game where I'm going 18-0 or, you know, some sort of crazy stat line, I'd probably upload it just as like a 4th video on the day, assuming I am still doing 3 a day. But I just don't know, man. I don't know if Arena really has the interest. I have been seeing a little bit more from content creators on Twitter talking a little bit about it, how they've been enjoying it a little bit again. So that's great news, but we'll just have to, you know, see how things play out with Arena. I think there was an update for it today even, so I don't know what that was, but hopefully fix some stuff. Actually, I think I did see something. It was like soft locking when you picked up certain items or something. So maybe if you found a sniper on the ground, you pick it up, your character kind of gets stun locked. I think that's what that was, but I could be wrong. I didn't really fully read it because it's Arena. I don't really care. So let's move on to the next one, loot nerf. This is a pretty hot topic, but a lot of you guys have told me like you have started to find a lot more stuff in containers now, and I think it's not really that. I think you're just noticing the better loot more. I think in the increased loot, you know, you're getting so much good stuff every single raid. You're finding Letexes, you know, on the ground in the labs. You're finding Letexes in Shoreline. And now you're getting raids where you find one military filter in a technical supply crate. You're like, dang, the loot's really good now. I think it's just because you're noticing it because there's literally nothing else on the map. But I could be wrong. And with the next thing we'll talk about being bosses and keycards, I definitely could be wrong. But, you know, the loot nerf across the board completely took all my motivation to play. And that's because the AI. So we will talk about the AI in a bit. But the AI combined with the loot nerf, it doesn't make sense right now in Escape from Tarkov for you to have to fight every single raid, you know, between 6 and 12 PMCs to come out with a bag of nothing. And I don't know if it's in episode like 78 of Uncut and Unheard, which should only be like 2 days away. But I played like a raid, I think. I think it was a woods raid or something. And I think I looted like 4 things before I went to extract. Like, I didn't even fill up my bag. I didn't even come close. I literally like 4 items. And it's just like, right now, it doesn't make sense to have all this AI, you know, swarming you and fighting you constantly, and then you have no loot, especially if you're paying up for ammunition. Like if you're running a spear and you're paying 6 USD a round and you're bringing in, you know, all 160 rounds of FMJ or whatever, like that's a ton of cash that you are burning every single raid. And giving you no loot, you are just literally burning money and you're not able to use some of the better and higher tier items in the game. Now, most of us who have hundreds of millions of rubles and it's not really an issue, you know, we don't have to complain about it. But the guys who aren't as good at the game, it's an issue for them. So the casual players get hurt the most. You know, all the grinders and the veteran players, we don't really care because we can just go on factories, stomp the entire map for 4 hours and make 10 million. Like, it's not really an issue. But when the AI are so cracked now, it's kind of hard for a casual player. So that's my take on it. I think the loot nerf was a misstep, but at the same time, the loot was increased out the ass. So maybe they should have just nerfed it less. I think it was too much for sure. Like going into labs and being able to carry 50 stims out of a raid if you hit Sandy's room, that's kind of insane. It's genuinely kind of nuts that you can pretty much safely make 10 million rubles without any work. Then the new AI came, and then the loot nerf came. So the AI coming in, the new mechanics, it wouldn't have been a problem if you were getting 50 stims every raid because you had to fight 10 PMCs and 5 raiders. Now you just get no loot and you still have to fight all of them. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. Next one, bosses have keycards again. So like I said in the intro, I got a decent amount of comments today just saying I'm clickbaiting, and I think it's hilarious when people say I clickbait because, like, if I wanted to clickbait, I would do it so much harder. Like, if I just wanted free cash, I could make every single video about loot runs that make you 10 million rubles every single run, and I could clickbait way easier. I could be super negative about Tarkov and clickbait that way. So if you think that I'm just making these videos to make easy money, you're mistaken. Every video has its own purpose here on the channel, and I try to spread the love, spread the content out. Tips, tricks, guides, skill guides, boss farming, uncut and unheard. I try to give everybody something to watch. So when it comes to the bosses having keycards again, I don't know exactly how many bosses I've killed. Probably only 100, something like that. Not a ton. I've killed a fair share of them, though. I've killed Sturman a bunch of times. Rashala probably 10, 20 times. Tagilla probably close to 50 times. And it's just like, I've killed a lot of bosses. And the fact that I just got my first keycard yesterday, after a bunch of other people have told me they have been getting colored cards within the last 24 to 48 hours after we had a loot nerf. And before that, we had not seen any colored cards in the pockets of bosses besides on the boss event. I've heard a couple people tell me, like, yeah, they got a colored key card here, colored key card there, and that's probably true. They probably did. But the general consensus was that pockets were bugged. And it's not that the bosses simply didn't have key cards spawning on them, which is also possible, because we saw Rashala no longer having the guaranteed Bitcoin in his pocket, stuff like that. It could just be straight up BSG disabled colored cards. I have no idea, since they put the colored cards in the marked room, they just took them off the bosses. That's possible. But we saw their pockets not spawning anything constantly. And that was our clear indication that there was something wrong. It was bugged. And now, as of yesterday, I killed Tagilla probably 5 to 10 times yesterday, just farming factory. Like I told you in the intro, I played for 4 hours last night. I was just farming factory. And when Tagilla dropped that blue card, I was like, oh, this is decent. Like, this is information people need to know, because it seems like the pockets are working as intended. Now, you're not going to get a key card every time. You probably won't even get a key card every 10 times. But the fact that it's now seemingly rolling properly, and there's always something in the pockets, it seems like. There's not always going to be, but it seems like now there's either some sort of crappy key, or there's like a chainlet, or a skull ring, and in my one case, a key card. So the bosses having that increased loot, now it puts you in a position where not only farming the bosses is fun again, but actively seeking the bosses out is now something you can do in your raids. So let's say, for example, somebody's playing on woods and you hear the SVD start popping off. Most of the time, right now, it's not really advantageous to kill Sturman. Now, there is the obvious answer that it's always worth it for the chance of Red Rebel, but now you have 2 rolls at some decent loot, and you technically have 3, because if he has a stash key on him, you can hit that stash. So maybe Sturman was a bad example, but Tagilla's a bad example too, because he has a class 6 plate and usually always has BT in his AK. And if he's using the 155, it usually has Flechette or AP. So, Tagilla's kind of a bad example too. I guess we could talk about Rashala then. Rashala, what's he have? 856, A1. His guard's got a decent amount of loot, but overall, it's not anything crazy. It's like usually all class 4 stuff. His AKs are kind of meh. I wouldn't, BT's kind of on the same level as 556, A1, so I don't know, man. I don't know. Point being, bosses are now worth killing, in my opinion, worth seeking out, and for everybody saying, like, they've always had key cards, I personally disagree. I think they might have had the chance to have key cards right when PvE came out, and certainly it was working fine during the boss farming event on Shoreline and Reserve. That's because those pockets were working. Like, those GP coins dropped every single time guaranteed. So every time you open their pockets, boom, GP coin, meaning loot is in their pockets, meaning key cards could spawn. That's just my take on it. And then some other people were saying goons had key cards. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if goons are just a completely different story and not really connected to the main bosses. It's probably not true, but I wouldn't have been surprised if, for example, Tagilla could never spawn a key card, but the goons could. Like, the goons are Chads. They are a lot tougher to kill than Tagilla, so it would make sense for them to have key cards on them. Just my opinion. So, let's talk about the next thing. People starting to get burnt out and take breaks. I've been seeing a lot of this in the comments. I don't really think my analytics have shown too much of a fall off. let's see. I know it's been the analytics are skewed a little bit recently because of the shenanigans. Now, actually, yeah, there's definitely a little bit of a fall off. My views were up for a bit because of shenanigans going on and talking about some more hot topic stuff, but yeah, there's a little bit of a fall off going on. Last 48 hours, 40,000 views. So yeah, that's definitely a dip for sure. And actually, no, it's a huge dip because 8,000 of those views are from shorts I posted, which I need to start posting more of those. Maybe we should talk about that. Maybe I should add that into the YouTube stuff. Yeah, let's throw that in down there. All right, so yeah, actually that means we got about 30,000 views in the last 48 hours, which would be a giant fall off, almost 30%. So I stopped talking about hot topic stuff, views tank. So, like I said, people are starting to get burnt out a little bit, and I completely get it. You're getting to the point where in PvP Tarkov, I felt like the point I started getting burnt out. Originally, I had the goal I wanted Kappa. Never did it. So I turned the goal down a little bit. Let's get to max traders, level 42, everything max, loyalty level. So, I hit that a couple times, couple different wipes, and then I was like, okay, well, my first goal that I want to set for myself is getting a thick case. So I would rush an entire wipe just to get a thick case, and boom, stop playing. So basically in PvE, my goal is to completely do everything, Lightkeeper and all. But when I hit Kappa, I just lost that burning desire to get on every single day and grind. It's just I'll do Lightkeeper when I want to do Lightkeeper. And the reason my mind works like that is mainly because I don't see Prestige mode dropping anytime soon. I don't see me wiping my PvE account anytime soon. And what I do see in my personal circumstance is that I will be playing hardcore soon, and I will be doing task guides for every single task in the game for all the new players that are going to purchase PvE standalone. So, my version of it was okay, I'll get Kappa and I'll just take a little bit of a break. And obviously, you can't play Tarkov 24/7. Some of you can, I know, but majority of us, we can't just continuously play it over and over and over and not do anything else. I played a little bit of Elden Ring. I've been doing some more personal work and stuff like that, and just working on myself a bit, and still doing 3 videos a day, grinding out content. It's been fine. But as for me actually playing Escape from Tarkov for pure enjoyment, last night was the first time I've actually played probably in, I want to say 2 or 3 weeks. Or I guess since I got Kappa. I might actually be overshooting that a little bit, because I think I might have got Kappa sooner than that. Actually, maybe not. That might be accurate, actually. Time flies, dude. Let's see. I'm going pretty far back here. Oh my god. Have I had Kappa for this long? Holy hell. Or I just completely missed it. No, right here. June. Damn. I got Kappa on June 16th? It's been a month. Alright, so yeah, that would have checked out. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so probably 2 to 3 weeks, something like that, since I've actually just played it for pure enjoyment. And, I was just kind of feeling it out, figuring things out. But I'm in a position where I get rewarded for playing Escape from Tarkov. If I hop on and play the game, I can record it. And if something cool happens in that recording, I can make a raid video out of that might get 1,000 views max. And that 1,000 views, that makes me usually about $3. It's usually a little lower, but recently there's been a ton of support on the channel. And since the watch time has been up because of Uncut and Unheard, a little bit longer episodes. Now, we need to talk about that. 3-hour episode of Uncut. Let's throw that in there. So every once in a while, one of my videos might make $4 per 1,000 if it's 10 minutes long or plus, something like that. But I get rewarded for it. Not everybody is getting rewarded for playing Escape from Tarkov. Not everybody's a content creator. There's a lot of people who just hop on and truly love video games and just need to decompress, relax, play a fun game. And those people, it's hard to keep their attention forever. And if there are not constantly, little events, little things to keep your mind on the game, keep Tarkov on the back burner. It's oh, I'm going to play Tarkov tonight because this happened, or there's an event tonight, or the loot is super good. And when you don't have anything, people start to burn out. In the last couple weeks, we haven't really seen anything too crazy going on in Escape from Tarkov. We did have the most recent event, the Key to Salvation, but that was a pretty quick one. You just had military batteries, you just had raiders on customs, you had a 50 million ruble money sink task for an achievement, and you have a barter that has been retained, which is amazing. Great call on that, getting the acid green flare. But other than that, that event was pretty damn quick. And now we haven't had anything since. We need something. We'll talk about that later, though, when it comes up. Long story short, people are starting to get burnt out a little bit, and they are taking breaks. They're playing some other games, and there's plenty of other games that are still super fun, and nobody's going to judge you for playing a different game. But when it comes to playing Escape from Tarkov, you'll always be back. And that is the beautiful thing about PvE and Tarkov now, is there isn't a time requirement on anything. So in PvP Tarkov, if you're not continuously playing for the first 3 months, it could be month 4 into a wipe, and you're just like, I'm not going to play Tarkov. I'll just wait until it wipes, and then I'll play. It doesn't happen anymore PvE, which is a great feeling. You can hop on, you can pick it up at literally any time you want. And that brings us into our next point. Will PvE wipe with the release of 1.0 of Escape from Tarkov? I've been seeing this a lot. Like, a lot of people have been commenting, like, there's no way this game does not wipe with the release of 1.0. I do not think it's going to wipe. The only way I could see it wiping everything without your permission or without you manually doing it is if you want to play the game with mods. And it depends on how much BSG will actually support mods, and we haven't done the video on mods specifically yet, but I have mentioned in previous podcasts that I don't think mods will actually make their way into Tarkov. But assuming they actually do, I think that might be a requirement to start a game with mods. Wipe your account completely, have zero access to any co-op, or maybe you could do co-op with other people on the mod server, but I think there'd have to be a completely separate server. There'd be no flea market, and it really just depends on what BSG will allow with the mods. But that could potentially make you wipe, but other than that, there's no way PvE wipes. There's absolutely no way. Now, I am concerned with patch point 15. If something screws up and it accidentally wipes PvE, if that happens, I am 99.9% sure they'll revert the patch because they will lose a large portion of the player base and they will see backlash worse than the Unheard Edition EOD fiasco. They will receive some major backlash. But as for it actually wiping the game, I don't see it happening. And that kind of moves us into our next point. We need that prestige system. We really need it because right now, I would be okay with prestiging. It really does also matter what you keep with a prestige and what options you have, because I think all of us, the first option that we would, use for a prestige token is, depending on what they would let us roll over. If there's zero rollover and it's just a different color dog tag that you can't even see, or if it's just a different color name, I think you'll see a lot of players not do it. If you can roll over something like you can in traditional Call of Duty system or prestige systems, I think the obvious choice, the first thing you're going to roll over is your Kappa container. And the only requirement to be able to prestige is completing the collector task. So obviously you prestige. If you get Kappa, you would still have to do collector again. And that would allow you to then prestige, something like that. As for the delivery of whatever you want to roll over, if it's an item, you should get it right when you start at the game from the system. If it's a task, whether you want to keep a task reward or keep completion on a task itself, maybe find the guide impossible, even though it's relatively easy. Maybe you want to roll over task completion status for the guide. Maybe you want to roll over M62 as a task reward so you can purchase it even at level 1 Peacekeeper. I think M62 is tied to a task, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe you want to roll over the Sig Spear if you already have completed that for Lightkeeper. There's a whole bunch of stuff you could do. Other stuff including Maybe you can choose the option to not have your skills reset. Maybe you can choose the option to keep your current strength level, being like right now I'm level 43 strength. Maybe I could prestige and use a prestige token on my strength skills. So the moment I hit level 1, I'm still going to be level 43 on strength, and then obviously my health skill would level up a little bit. And that might be tough for them to implement then, actually making your skills roll over properly. I have no idea. Maybe you could choose to keep something in the hideout. Maybe you could use a prestige token on Bitcoin farm level 1, and then you prestige again. Then you can use that token on Bitcoin farm level 2, prestige again, and you can use it on Bitcoin farm level 3. But you still have to find all the GPUs. Something like that. We could go so far in depth with the prestige system and what we could truly do with it. And I think that's probably the main reason it's going to take so long to implement. We really have to see what Nikita wants to do with it. If it's as simple as, hey, here's a prestige and you get a new outfit that you can only obtain through prestiging. Yeah, there's going to be 10% of endgame players that'll do it. But if there's not a true incentive, something that will help you in a true new game plus experience, I don't think it'll be a success. I don't think it'll be a hit. But we just have to see. But I think we need that prestige mode as quickly as possible. And you could do other stuff like New Game Plus on hard mode. Maybe you pick a mode where the AI are always aggressive. Or you decide to fully reset your account, no stash, no rollover. Like, you don't keep Kappa, you don't keep skills, nothing. Maybe you get a bonus token, so then the next time you prestige, you can roll over. You have 2 tokens, and then you prestige again, and then you have 3 tokens, but you've only prestiged twice. Something like that. There's just so much we could do with it, to be honest with you. So, we have the new AI. This has been a really interesting implementation at a really bad time for it to be implemented. So, I've talked about this in the loot nerf video I made, but basically, the new AI is really annoying right now because there's no loot on the map. You're not being properly rewarded for the amount of combat that you're required to do in raids. So you're going in, you're spending all this ammo, you're chalking your weapon durability, you're chalking your armor, you have to leave the raid, re-up on ammo, re-up on meds, re-up on armor, re-up on repairing, all this stuff. And in that raid, you might have made 200,000 rubles because you were doing a task, you just didn't get a lot of loot, or you had to run to the extract because you were injured. So many circumstances, right? And of course, you're going to have raids where you make a few million. You're always going to have some good raids. But overall, it's not rewarding for some who like the survival looting experience of Escape from Tarkov. If they have gone to PvE mode to escape the PvP in general, not just escape the cheaters, that is now gone. And that is driving some players away. Now, I actually think the new AI is a good thing for the game in general, even though myself, I kind of liked PvE on easy mode. It was really, really relaxing. Like, it was genuinely load up a raid, go do whatever you want. The AI are in predictable places. You don't have to stress too much. And it was super relaxing. And that was the first time I've played Tarkov in like a relaxing session. So maybe it was kind of like a honeymoon phase with the new mode. But, players now, they might be adjusted to the game being on easy mode, The exploits of no AI and having all this loot on the map and the AI being in predictable places, all that's gone. So when you get a little hit of dopamine from a super easy raid, leaving that raid with 10 million in your bag, it's just like, well, why would I want to play the game that's 10 times harder? I make no money. I lose money because I have to do all these repairs and buy all this other stuff again. And I don't know where the AI are going to be. That's Tarkov, man. At the end of the day, that is a lot better for the overall player base because it's the more true to Tarkov experience. I think even though, the game now, I feel less motivated to play it. I think where we're at is way better. I think there are some adjustments that need to be had with the AI. I do not think every single time you find a group of PMCs that they should be in a group. I think there should be solos. I think there should be duos. But I do not think every time you run into a PMC that there should be 4 more or 3 more right around the corner for you to fight. I think that's a flaw, but at the same time, it is how Nikita intended Tarkov to be played in groups. Now, obviously, the game is a lot more solo friendly because you can one tap everything. So that's the reason I think solo has flourished over the years, is because you can be a rat. You can sit in a bush with high penetration ammo and you can kill a 5 stack in 5 bullets. Now, it doesn't usually happen that way, but it's possible. And when you have something like that that is possible, it favors solo play. And I think just in general, Tarkov is a better game played solo. I think it always has been and always will be. But like I said, Nikita intends the game to be played with a group. So that is what the AI PMCs do. They play as a group. They're in a squad. That's pretty realistic. So, when it comes to gamifying it and making it more video gamey, I think we should have solos. I think we should have duos to make it more true to the actual PvP Tarkov experience. But at the same time, I get it. Doesn't mean, because I don't like it, things should change. We just have to adapt to it. And I think overall, the AI changes, they're good. I think if you are running Class 6 armor, there is no excuse for you not to be able to take out a squad of 4 PMCs. Even if they're shooting you up, start learning the pre-med. All these things we did for years. Pre-med fights, have stims on you. Don't just keep the stims in your, little stim pouch in your container. Like, keep a stim hotkeyed and ready to go. ETGs are like 40K at the time of recording. There's no reason you can't have one just sitting in your hotbar. The moment you get in a gunfight and take a little bit of damage, pop that shit and re-engage. Don't just run away, hide, and let the AI PMC heal up or reposition. They flank like crazy. They're freaking smart, dude. They definitely made them pretty interesting to fight. Now, they do have their moments, but it's been a pretty awesome experience. But when you do have no loot on the map, it does take away from the experience because you're not rewarded for doing all that fighting. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. So next tier listed, I have needing an event as soon as possible. We already kind of talked about this, but right now Tarkov is a little dry. We're in the middle of July. If we're going to be getting 0.15 at the end of August, we need an event now. If we're going to get it at the beginning of August, it doesn't matter if we get an event now because we're still going to get something for pre-wipe. Now, whether PVE is going to get anything or get the same exact thing, we don't know that. And I kind of have this slight suspicion that BSG isn't going to fully know how to implement the pre-wipe for both servers. So they might do something regarding Arena. That's just kind of my, at least, prediction. Mainly because they might not know how to correctly implement everything yet. So, in my opinion, we need an event just to hold us over. Unless 0.15 is going to drop. What's the first Thursday of August? It's actually technically August 1st. So, I would say August 8th. Like, if the patch is going to be on August 15th, 22nd, or 29th, we need an event. Like, soon, within the next week. If it's going to be on the 1st or the 8th, don't give us an event. Give us a short pre-wipe, and we'll be happy. So, the last and final thing on the Tarkov side is the new patch being interesting and how the new players to the game recently will interact with it. So, the main thing I'm worried about is they're going to do drops again, and they might do another Tarkov TV or something. And all the drops and any promo codes, anything like that, will not go to PvE. It's going to be a lot of new players. And if they buy PvE mode for 40 or 50 bucks, it's guys, like everybody's saying it's going to be $20, you're dreaming. Nikita's going to capitalize, $39.99. Honestly, probably $44.99 is probably what I'm feeling. And then after your fees on that stupid, what is that app called? The payment processors, a Walla or something, XSOLLA or something. They charge a little transaction fee and all that other nonsense. So out the door, after your local taxes, probably 50 beans. And, all these players are going to pick up PvE, and they're going to see everybody getting these drops. Everybody getting these rewards. If BSG has not yet figured out how to get that stuff to your PvE account, I think it's going to be a problem. I think it's going to make some players upset. I think there's going to be a lot of PvE players that are brand new with the release of a purchasable PvE edition, and they are going to feel like everybody's ahead of them, as they should, because that's exactly how it will be. Everybody, has hundreds of millions of rubles. The flame market has billions flowing in and out of it every single day. But I feel like if they do not have the drops like integrated properly for PvE, like it's gonna sway away some people, man. Like if you really want PvE standalone to be a success, drop that shit like now. Drop it in the next week. Do a Tarkov TV. Release your promo codes. Have drops on. So basically say in a tweet or something before, all drops will be available for PvE mode. You know what's going to happen? Everybody's going to FOMO and they're going to buy PvE. And those players will have that and they'll be able to get the drops on their PvE account. I think that's the best way to do it right now, because let's just say you have drops on for, the first week of wipe or something. Like if you're not getting that stuff in PvE, you're not getting as many streamers involved. You're not getting the true viewership you could be getting. You're just missing out on free marketing, not having the drops correctly integrated, in my opinion. And it's not even going to be like that good of stuff. You're potentially missing out on millions of dollars by not having it fully integrated. Now, whether that is because of the problems we saw with Ref not being able to be integrated, who knows? We don't know the behind the scenes shit. But I think BSG needs to work on that and they need to be ready. And they'll make a lot more money if they correctly integrate all that stuff. So this is the ad break. That's everything for Tarkov. You're heading out now. I appreciate you so much. I got at least 5 ads out of you, so you don't even have to listen to the ad break. As you know, here on the podcast, there's an ad at the 2-minute mark, then the 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and so on and so forth. So I do appreciate your support sticking through. If you got YouTube Premium, I'm thinking about joining you guys, actually, because recently YouTube, bro, they have been hitting me like on an 8-minute video with a 60-second non-skippable ad. Like, that's crazy, YouTube. 8-minute video, you're giving me a 60-second non-skippable. I mean, 5 seconds on the skip, I'm cool. I'll deal with it. But, like, 60 seconds non-skippable? That's pretty crazy, brother. That's just when I'm watching it, like, on my TV or something. Obviously, your boy's rocking the ad block. I can't even lie with you. But let's hop into the ad break. If you are heading out now, I appreciate you guys so much. So, the first ad, sponsored by me. The memberships, the super thanks, the like button, and the views. You guys know we do not have an official sponsor here for the PvE podcast. Hey, somebody wants to reach out to me. If things make sense, I like what you got. You know who I'd love to sponsor the podcast? If this thing like blew up, Factor. Because I've done HelloFresh before. It's a pain in the ass to cook, spend 20, 40 minutes cooking something. I see Stankrad is sponsored by Factor. If they want to send your boy a box every month and all I have to do is put their stuff in the description and give them a shout out 4 times a month on a podcast, brother, I'd be down. Because I'd save a little money. Food prices are fucking insane, dude. Holy. But yeah, man, I'd be interested in working with them. But yeah, if a company wants to reach out, I'd be down. But first things first, let's talk about the members. Let's do an update. Let's see who is winning what membership tier. Now, obviously, it should be the Rats because the Rat membership is cheaper, so it obviously makes sense. Whoa, hold on a minute. So, as of right now, we have 18 active members as of, yesterday. Has anybody... Undead Gaming joined the Chad tier yesterday. Thank you, Undead. So, right now, the Rats have 10, and the Chads have 8. We have 18 members, and the Chads are 2 behind. So thank you guys to all the members. I appreciate you. One thing, I don't know if I've been making super clear, but even if you're in the Rat tier and you join the Discord, let me know. I'll still make you part of the member role in there. That was originally exclusive to the Chads, but I don't like having like super exclusive stuff like that. If you're supporting, if you have a membership badge next to your name, I want you in that role. So if you are in the Discord, it's in the description. It's free. You don't have to pay for anything in there. Everything's free. We almost have 1,000 people in the Discord now. Insane. Never thought it would ever get that big. So thank you guys for all the support. To the members, I do appreciate you. And then the super thanks. We have to talk about this for a minute. All right, we have to talk about this for a minute. Let me go to my analytics. Let me go to this month. This month has been absolutely insane. We're 15 days deep. As for the super thanks, there's been 21 of you who have dropped super thanks in the month of July. And let's talk about June real quick. June, we had 39, and in May, we had 27. So obviously we are on pace for our best month ever with these super thanks. If you don't know what super thanks is, that's that little heart with like the dollar sign in it. It's in a bunch of different places depending on where you're watching, but it's the equivalent of like Twitch and donations. Some of you guys on like my 25K video and one of the other ones, you know, the support has been unreal. Someone dropped a 200 bomb. There was a 100 bomb. There's like 275s. There's like 5 or 6 50 bombs. Like, guys, that level of support is insane. That is insane. I've never thought in a million years that I would provide enough value for people to actually willingly donate to me for money they have worked hard for. Like, that is like a blessing. Because, yeah, even though I work my ass off, YouTube does pay me. It's not a lot, but I do work my ass off. But the fact that I provide enough value to certain human beings for them to find the kindness in themselves to actually be willing to find enough value in what I'm doing to compensate me for that is, it's a really odd experience, and it's an emotion that I haven't really experienced until PvE came out and the channel started doing well. And it just, you know, it's overwhelming because it actually makes me feel like I have a purpose. Like, I'm genuinely helping people to a point where they are donating and saying, hey, like, you're doing a fantastic fucking job and we appreciate you, and this is the way that I can show it personally. Not everybody's in a blessed position in life. Not everybody can. But the people who drop the likes, the people who leave the comments, saying kind words, doesn't matter what it is, anything kind. If you're talking shit, I'll talk shit back and then I'll block you. But everybody who's being kind, you guys are amazing. And everybody's just viewing the content. Like, everything combined, we create one amazing Supercell community of support, good vibes, and we're just going to keep going. We're going to keep going up. So, you know, this is an ad slot. If you want to support the channel, I appreciate you. The super thanks option is there. The membership option is there. But you know what option is always there for free? The like button. And that is the one that, to me, means the most. And some videos recently, you guys have been absolutely killing it. And I want to give a shout out to all you guys who dropped a like on the 25K video. Thank you for 25K. That video, even though there's a giveaway on it, and of course, you know, it's incentivized for you to leave a like because of the giveaway, 300 likes in 1,200 views. A like ratio like that, even though it is a giveaway video, is absolutely insane. So thank you guys so much for the support. And then the other ad slot is anything in the description. That's a clickable link. Any of the equipment that I use in my setup, that actually needs completely redone. That needs upgraded. But even anytime you're thinking about buying something on Amazon, if you just click one of the links in my description and then you type in the item you actually want, I'll get a kickback from that. Somebody bought a 4080 like last week, and Jeff Bezos had to give me $8 from his profit. So, you know, if you want to take money from the big guy and give it to the little guy, you can do that by supporting me and clicking on one of those links. And if I remember to put it down there, 30-day free trial to Amazon Prime. You can literally cancel it right away if you need to order something off Amazon, get that Prime shipping. Prime Gaming, it looks like they took it away, but you still have your Prime sub, I think, for Twitch. So if you wanted to subscribe your favorite streamer, you could hit them with the Twitch Prime, and then you could just cancel your Prime, and you still get it for the entire month. Ad-free watch on Twitch, and just make sure you cancel that before the 30 days is up so you don't get charged. If you would get charged, I think it's like 10, 13 bucks, something like that. So all that stuff in the description. Thank you guys so much for the support. Let's hop into the YouTube stuff. This is, you know, just stuff about the channel, stuff we got coming up, and other stuff going on. So the first thing here on the list is hitting 25K. 25,000 subs. The reason this is so significant, and I didn't talk about this in the actual 25K video, is because my other channel, Acez Gaming, I've had that channel since 2011. So 13 years. The Tarkov channel has surpassed it. Acez Gaming has 24,100, I think. Let me see. Yeah, 24,100. And the Tarkov channel is at 25,500. So, like, that's insane. Technically, if we want to count my variety channel, Acez Plays as well, we have, I think we just hit this yesterday, we currently have 51,000 subscribers combined, but not a lot of people like when I use that metric. I use it on my Twitter, but it's just kind of a personal thing. But the fact that I surpassed my Call of Duty channel, and before Call of Duty, it was a Destiny channel, and it was a whole bunch of shit, right? It's just surreal to me that Tarkov came along and has just been such a blessing to me. And PVE mode is what saved it, because I was at 16,300 subscribers on the Tarkov channel for like a year straight. It was just dead in the water. Tarkov channel was dead. Didn't enjoy the game. Didn't like it. PVE comes out, and your boy has been making more content than I've made in a long time. Except for when a Call of Duty releases, then I'll usually do like 100 videos in a week. But yeah, man, 25K. Thank you guys so much. Truly a blessing. And that brings us to the next thing. I ran the analytics in the last, when we hit 25K. The prior 45 days to the day we hit 25K, we had gotten a little over 5,000 subs. I think it was like 5,145 days. So I did the math, and we should hit 100,000 subscribers in less than 2 years. And typically what will happen is, with these new patches releasing, at least in my mind, with the content that I have planned, assuming I stick to it, don't get burnt out, the new PC has no problems, everything's cooking, like we're on the full blast, baby. When we start to do these task guides for every single task in the game, I think the channel's going to skyrocket. That's just me. I could be completely underestimating how many people will purchase PvE and be new players. I could be, I think it's probably going to be, let's just say 50,000. I think 50,000 people, new Tarkov players, if there's enough marketing and people start pushing it and all this other stuff. If it's like a big deal and goes semi-viral in the gaming space, that, you can just buy PvE Tarkov, I think like 50,000 new heads that have never played Tarkov before will discover the game in the short term. 50,000 new people, 10% conversion. If we can just get 5,000 new regular viewers, that would be enough to push us enough in the algorithm, because just the way things work. It's been a kind of a new territory for me, hitting the 25K subs and, seeing the videos and what's going on with analytics and how you kind of have to stick to the trends to stay in relevancy. But if I want to make what I want to make, I have to accept that I'll get significantly less views and I'll hurt myself over time. So I think if we do task guides, that is going to be something that the algorithm will favor for Tarkov and all these new players. If we can get like a 10% conversion to start, like 5,000 of these new players to start watching the channel, those task videos will do well, and they'll have a bunch of views to start. And as new players come in, or as more new players start to search, they will click on my video over others, and that's when the snowball starts. So I've been thinking about this for a lot. I don't know if it's going to go the way I'm thinking it will, but if it does, I think that we should hit 100,000 subscribers probably a lot sooner than the 1.8 years it's supposed to take before we hit 100K, assuming that we have consistent and steady growth here on the channel, which, the way you guys are supporting, I don't see any world where we don't have that level of support. I think things are looking up to me being one of those guys for Tarkov. When people talk about content creators for Tarkov, I want to be in the mix. Right now, I don't think I'm in the mix. I might be for PvE, but I don't think in general I'm like a Tarkov creator that's talked about. Maybe when it comes to flea market stuff, I was in the past, and the rat money stuff. But overall, I'm not really anybody that's talked about. I'm still not relevant in the grand scheme of things. But once we start doing these upgrades, once a new PC comes in, once I get a new mic and I can really fine tune like OBS settings, and in the past I've had noise gates on and the audio sounded a lot more crisp in the past, but what started happening is if I start talking really low like this or something like that, or if I'm locked into a raid and I start talking really low, the noise gate would cut me off and you wouldn't hear a single damn thing I'm saying right now. And that affects the quality of a recording. So I have taken the route of lower sound quality over getting all the words in, but in the future, hopefully we can get things figured out, and I think soon you'll start seeing some major improvements here to the content. It's not perfect by any means, and I'm sure you guys don't expect perfect from me, just this little guy with 25K subs. If I had 250,000 subs or something, you'd be like, this guy Mike sounds like this with 250,000 subs? What's this guy doing? But, you know, I have 25K. So I'm sure I get a decent bit of slack. But I really do think once we start to, you know, keep going up a little bit, that we're gonna make these improvements that need to be made. And I think 100K is closer than 2 years. I think it's closer than 1.8 years. It was the exact calculation, like 1.81 years, whatever that comes out to. Even if we can cut that down to, you know, a year and a half, that's still significantly better. And it's a really great goal to shoot for. So I'm excited. And the next point here I have written down is the support has been insane. It truly has. And that is the actual support from you guys, the comments, the super thanks, the memberships, the people in the Discord, the like button being smashed, all this stuff. The support on your guys' part has been insane. Views might be down, or they were technically up the last week because of exploits, but besides that, you know, views are down a little bit. And I've had people comment like, hey, I haven't seen you in the algorithm for a bit. This is the first video I've seen in a while. You know, I get those comments frequently, and those comments are a blessing because it lets me know, like, hey, I am not uploading content that the overall Tarkov PVE player base wants to watch. What does the overall Tarkov player base want to watch? They want to see things about new patches, news, apparently exploits, money guides. All that stuff is super popular. But when I'm uploading viewer kits, they only get 300 views. Makes sense because people aren't as interested in watching that content. So, you know, you guys supporting everything, especially Uncut and Unheard. You guys are amazing, man. Thank you so much. And that leads us into our next one. So the last episode of Uncut and Unheard that has went up was episode 76. And that will still be the last one at the time of recording. But if this goes up at 9 p.m., 77 will probably go up near like 1 a.m. in the morning, something like that, just to give the podcast a little bit of time to breathe. So 76, we tried something. That shit has 500 views? Oh my God. Okay. So I'm going to give this another 2 days so the analytics can fully finalize, but we are going to do some direct comparisons. So I've changed up Uncut and Unheard a bit, and we unfortunately have some kind of bad news about Uncut and Unheard here shortly, but it's good in general. So 74 was an hour and 20 minutes. 75 was 2 hours and 6 minutes. 76 was 2 hours and 57 minutes. So I'm going to take all three of these videos, and I'm going to compare the watch time. I'm going to compare the points of fall off, the lack of interest. Now, obviously, load screens, but I have timestamps for that reason. I'm going to compare the amount of revenue that is being made. You know, how much money I'm being paid per 1,000 views. And I'm gonna take all this into account. I'm gonna do a direct comparison to all three videos, and we're gonna see what the YouTube algorithm is favoring for me personally and for you guys, and what you guys are enjoying watching the most. So what I want to do in Uncut and Hardcore that's gonna be coming soon, I don't want to have this super long period of time where you're watching a recording that's 2 months old. So obviously I need to make longer videos. So that would favor the 2 to 3 hour recordings. However, I need to have enough time in my day to record these and still give you an episode hopefully every single day. Now, if I want to throw Uncut and Unheard in the mix still, then it would be every other day. That could be all right, but people are going to want to see the hardcore because it's going to be new. It's going to be something refreshing. It's going to be fun. So, you know, I need to have all this data ready for when we hit Uncut and Hardcore, so I don't make the same mistakes, and it's going to be exciting. So, you know, this is not even 24 hours old yet. I don't think there'll be any data. Oh, there is a little bit of data. Okay, when was this uploaded? So, this was uploaded at 12 in the morning, so I have the first 3 hours of data. Let's see here. Okay, Oh, okay. So I'm looking at the per 1,000 views rate. Now that's probably going to go down though. We'll have to see. I only have 3 hours worth of data here. Oh, okay. The 2 hour one is decent. Now let me check an hour and 20 minute one. So that's lower. Okay, so 2 hours is like where it seems to be, just for lack of a better way to say it, more profitable if we do 2 hours at a time, which actually 2 hour episodes feel a lot more natural. I think I recorded what is Uncut 78, which was recorded yesterday. That is an hour and 25 minutes. I'm a little on the fence about uploading that one, though, because I was in a pretty bad mood. I was not too happy. And I don't want to... I don't really want to, you know, create content that I'm in a bad mood. But it's to a point where I needed to record an Uncut and Unheard episode. So we kind of had to. So let's check out... Can I check out the watch time? Average view duration on the 3-hour one was 25 minutes. Actually, 25 minutes and 55 seconds. So basically 26 minutes. If you don't know, that kind of view duration is actually crazy on YouTube. Having an analytic like that really helps your channel. So let me check the 2-hour episode. So we had 26 minutes. The 2-hour episode was 22 minutes. And then the 1-hour episode was, or hour and 20 minutes, was 13 minutes. Oh, okay. So, see, like, now that analytic favors the 3-hour. So, it's going to be a really fun comparison to break it down and really see how this 3-hour episode of Uncut and Unheard does. It's not something that's probably going to be too common until we get to Uncut and Hardcore, but I'm interested, man. It's fun to look at this data like that. So let's talk about Uncut and Unheard a little bit more. Unfortunately, it's gonna phase out either temporarily or permanently. So Uncut and Unheard episode 78 was recorded yesterday. 76 went live yesterday. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's right. 76 went live yesterday. 77 goes live in like 4 hours. 78 will come out tomorrow. I have nothing recorded past 78. And that's if 78 even gets uploaded. Like I said, I was being a little negative Nancy in that one. So I was just in a bad mood and wanted to try and relax on Tarkov. And it didn't quite go as well as I would have liked. It helped for sure. But I might have to watch a little bit of it and see how I feel about it. Basically, at this exact moment in time, we do not have a stockpile of Uncut and Unheard episodes. I currently can't really play many maps. Lighthouse is not playable on local raids on my PC. Streets of Tarkov, I just cannot record, even though it's not on local raids. Reserve is playable. Customs is playable. Labs is playable. Factory is playable. Woods is playable. Interchange, I might have done one. Yeah, I did do one raid because I did the Killa video. What was our frame rate on that? I think it was around 65, 70. No, 60. Was it 60 with a scope? I can't remember. No, it dropped with a scope, so I think it was 60 average. So we could technically do interchange, but interchange probably won't work too well because of the amount of scavs that are on the map. The fact I was getting 60 is impressive, actually, because there would have been a ton of scavs. So I'm kind of limited on what I can do, and 5 maps is still okay. It's not bad, but it's hard to just play the game how you want. So basically, until the new PC comes in, which I will get my June payment on the 22nd. So in a week from now, the 22nd, I get paid for June. So everything I made on YouTube in June. We do not get paid until a month and 3 weeks after the payment cycle. So like all the super thanks and everything, how generous you guys were this month in July, I won't see that money until August 22nd, which is crazy. So I'll get paid then. I should be able to hopefully order that PC Monday. I think the company said it should be either ready to ship by Thursday or Friday. Depending on who they use to ship it, if they use UPS, I probably will not get it until like fucking July 30th or something. Now, if they use FedEx, I should get it way sooner than that. And it depends on... I could see if I could get a rushed build and see if I could get like 1-day shipping, but that would probably cost me a few $100 extra, and I don't know if I really want to do that. But at this point, if I'm spending fucking... Oh my god, I looked at the price today. It's $5,800. If I'm spending this much, what's another $200 at this point? But it's it's close. It's going to be here. When that new PC gets here, it's going to be great because we will be able to start up on Cut and Unheard again. So we might have like 2 weeks of downtime for Uncut and Unheard. Maybe if I record a little more, you'll get a couple episodes in there. But I'll try and replace it with either viewer kits or we can start that Fence series that was supposed to be started a long time ago, but it just wasn't because I ruined Fence for myself, to be honest. But you know, I wanna make sure you're getting your 3 videos a day. But if it does, you know, come down to 2, it is what it is. But once that new PC is in, we're gonna be able to do a whole lot more. Play every single map. Streets content will finally be coming. I haven't uploaded a single Streets video in over 2 months because I just can't record it. So it's going to completely change the game, and we will have an adjustment period there, but maximum 3 weeks. If PVE becomes purchasable within the next, well, as soon as possible, really. The moment that happens, I will start hardcore right away, and we'll at least have a few episodes that we can do some stuff on the beginner maps. Ground Zero is kind of not playable on local raids, but I've only tested it like twice, and with a scope it was terrible. But maybe on a hardcore account, you know, we won't have scopes right away, so it won't be that big of an issue. But if PVE is purchasable, then 100% we will have hardcore immediately, and there will not really be a downtime on any uncut content. We'll see what I can do, though. I could certainly upload just raids, too. Like, we'll figure it out, for sure. 100%. We'll get a 3rd video in there somehow, some way. But, you know, there could be a downtime with that. And the next thing I do want to kind of touch on while we're still touching on it is I just want to thank you guys. A $5,800, you know, $5,800 USD, that kind of purchase for simply a piece of equipment is not something normal. All right, that's not a normal purchase for 95% of the people watching this. Now, you guys that have, you know, $100,000 plus jobs, that's nothing to you guys. Well, I don't want to say that. I don't want to be rude. It's just, on the grand scheme of things, it's something more affordable for you. For me, I make like, on a really good year, like $36,000 clear after taxes, after everything. So dropping like 6 bands on a PC is largely because of you guys. So my honest reaction to this PC is I just want to make sure all of you know how thankful I am for the support. Because without your guys' support, there would be no PC. There would be no new PC. There would be no Streets content in the future. You know, we would just have to suck it up. And it would just be an unfortunate circumstance of the situation that I'm in, where it wouldn't have been something really achievable or affordable. Now, we're in a position where you guys have been supporting so much. We've had a really, really solid 2 months on YouTube where I feel comfortable dropping that kind of money on this piece of equipment to invest in myself, invest in this channel, invest in you guys so we can get some better content. And then the next month, so in August, I plan on redoing the entire setup. Soundproofing the entire room. New microphone. New shock mount. New mic stands. Well, not mic stand. What is it called? A boom arm? Might not even be called. It's just an arm to hold up the shock mount. Might actually be called a boom arm. You know, just across the board, I want to make sure everything is we start to really just evolve the channel. Just evolve the setup, evolve everything, start to really improve the content. And I'm hoping when we do get to 100K in, you know, 2-ish years, that I can, hopefully the channel's in a position where I can just have an editor and I can make this content way better for you guys. Just across the board better. So you being subscribed now, consider this the beginning. Consider this PC the new beginning, because in my opinion, it's only up from here. Like, you are witnessing the start of something amazing, and that's all because of you guys. So I just wanted to make sure you understand that this is because of you guys and not just because of me. Just because I'm the one making the content and putting in the work and putting in the hours, it's not because of me. It's because of you guys stopping in the channel and showing your support. So let's be clear on that. I want to make sure everybody knows how thankful I am for this, because it is a blessing. And the fact that I get to make Tarkov content is a blessing in itself. Like, I do not have to wake up and go to a manual labor job. That is, I work from home for my regular work, but I can pretty much comfortably say, if this continues on for however many years, that things are going to get better for myself and better for my family in the future. So I'm extremely excited and extremely thankful. We have a couple more things to talk about, and then we'll wrap this one up. You guys know at some point in every podcast, there's always going to be somewhere in there where, the thankful Acez comes out. It's just my personality. My mama raised me right. So, I'm very thankful for everything I have in life. So, hardcore. Let's talk about this. So, it's going to be coming soon. You guys know. The rules have been finished. As for episode length for hardcore, as we previously discussed with the other uncut stuff, it will be completely uncut. The title will be uncut in hardcore, and I do want the episodes to be roughly 2 hours long. That's because we don't have load times anymore. So if we would still have load screens, I'd want it to be 3 hours long, but since we don't have load times, I'm thinking 2 hours is great for episode length. As for the rules, well, we'll talk about the rules in a second. As for everything else, it's going to be exactly like uncut and hardcore. There will not be any edits whatsoever. There won't be an end screen. There won't be, if I have a voice crack, you're hearing it. If I start stuttering and I can't speak, you're hearing it. If I have a jump scare so bad that, I'm looking straight at the ground, looting something, and then I'm looking in the sky, you're seeing it. That is the best part about Uncut and Unheard, really, is because you get to see everything. It's not condensed. You get to see my perspective with everything. Like I'm streaming, which a lot of you want me to do. We've already discussed why I won't, so, watch the other podcasts. But it's going to be fun. It's coming as soon as possible. The moment PVE is released for purchase, it is coming. And let me tell you the rules. The other thing after the rules is we need to upload more shorts, which is going to be a super quick conversation, which really won't take any time. So we're about wrapped up here. Let me find these hardcore rules real quick. Why is the internet being weird? Luckily for me, if the internet goes down, the recording still goes. So it really doesn't matter if there is something messed up. Looks like we're good, though. All right. So there's a lot of rules. So Uncut and Hardcore Season 1 rules. And some of these might overlap. I just kind of wrote them all down just off the top of my head. So if anything's a little screwed up, we'll figure it out. Episode 1 of something and me starting a new series, we always have to work out the kinks. So the first thing is deleting all items in the stash except for food, water, and money. And then there's an extra rule here. Acez can choose to keep the starter melee weapon if 500,000 rubles is sacrificed before the first raid. So that starting money, I'm allowing myself to keep it for hideout upgrades and some of the other rules, some of the other exceptions, or I can delete the money and I can keep my melee weapon. And that is because of how hard it is to find a melee. So we have starter food can only be used up until level 5. Same with, healing with therapists. You get to level 5. All quest items can be purchased with rubles via the traders or flea markets if currently on that task with the sole intention of only being used for the task. This is traditionally something that is not allowed in any capacity with hardcore. This is mainly because I do not want hardcore to not be fun. I've played hardcore. I have a hardcore account. The username is literally Acez Gaming Hardcore. I personally thought it was too hard. And that's obviously the point. But I want to have fun on the recording. So let's say I die with my SV98 doing fishing gear. I'm buying another fucking SV98. I'm not going to find one by killing a scav. I'm recording every one of these. They're going to be uncut. There's no room for that for an uncut recording setting. Searching for 3 days trying to find an SV98 off recording, not going to happen. We'll save everybody time, myself included, and we will just be purchasing an SV98 for the sole intention of using it for fishing gear and not using it to kill anything. So, let's move on. We have post-raid health regen will be allowed through the entire playthrough via rubles. So I think that's pretty standard for hardcore playthroughs now. Money can be used for out-of-raid health items if therapist was forgotten in the menu. So basically, if I forgot to heal with therapist from post-raid, I can go to therapist, I can purchase an AI2, I can purchase a splint, 4 rubles, and I can heal any of those effects. So basically, just like healing normally. The only problem there is I will be getting XP for it, but as long as it's not intentional, then it doesn't matter. All containers are purchasable. Money cases, weapons cases, items cases, all that stuff is purchasable. It is allowed to be used. Scav, junk box, all that. You pretty much need it, to be honest, especially on a standard account. So all containers will be purchasable. Factory key is purchasable for the first key, but then must be bartered for replacement. If in the event the key being used accidentally on one of 20, another is purchasable via flea market with the deletion of the required barter items also. So you need an Iskra and 3 MREs or something like that. Whatever the barter is, if I accidentally use a 1 of 20 factory key, so I have, it disappears, I can buy another one off of the flea market, but I have to have the barter items required for it, and I have to delete them. I can't sell them, nothing. I just have to straight up delete them. Then I can purchase another factory key to basically replace that. The first one will be purchasable because jackets just are nerfed into the ground, and keys do not drop very often. All right, so we have secure containers can be used for keys, keychains, key tools, docs case that only contains keys and key cards, and the key card holder. Secure container can also be used for a found in raid injector case, not a injector case given by a task. So what does this mean? This means that if I find an injector case in a marked room, I will have a specific rule that lets me keep the injector case in my container. This is probably going to be a little bit of a controversial one because it is anything but hardcore. But it's something that I wanted to give myself as just here you go. Here's something to make this a little bit easier on yourself. So, it's definitely going to be one of the more controversial ones. It definitely makes it a lot less hardcore, but we will not get that injector case for a while. I don't know if it's here on the list or not with obtaining keys. It's something I have to work out if I'm going to allow the purchase of keys or not. I'm not sure on that one yet. So the next one is no purchase of normal items from traders, no purchase of normal items from the flea market, no scav raids, no normal items in your container, no co-op, solo only. That was never a question. It's just there simply for the rule's sake. All crafting is allowed. No insurance is allowed. Labs cards can be purchased with rubles via the flea market or trader, but Acez must go in with only a pistol. That's if you are buying the Labs key cards. Labs key cards that are purchased via barter or are found in raid have 0 restrictions. After episode 1, if Acez does not have a melee weapon, a PM pistol with a single magazine and ammunition will be allowed for purchase until a melee weapon is acquired, assuming the money option was declined via Rule 1. So this is my other out. If I choose to keep the money and delete the melee, if I do not have a melee weapon by the first episodes, if I go about 2 hours without obtaining a melee weapon, I will be able to use a PM pistol, and I can, just purchase that until we kill a scav and get a melee. It's just an out. It just simply allows me to not have to go multiple episodes or upwards of 4 to 6 hours trying to find a melee weapon. Then we have here, there's no true objective. However, the order would be max traders, max hideout, and kappa. I do not have Lightkeeper on here, but if you wanted to extend that list truly, then Lightkeeper. The channel goal for the series is 300 hours plus of content. So, just to break that down on what I would think that would be, we would just do that, 300 divided by 2-hour episodes, 150 episodes. That would kind of be the goal. As for how long it took me to get Kappa, I'd say that's pretty close. I think it was probably more along the lines of 400 hours, but at the same time, I wasn't truly grinding for the first, 50 to 100 hours of PvE. I was just trying to figure things out, just level up, wasn't really grinding tasks. So Well, I guess I had the flea market for everything. Yeah, never mind. So it would probably take me way over 300 hours to get Kappa. But Max Traders, 300 hours, we could probably do that. I think we could do that. So that's it for the rules there. The one thing that's up in the air is if I want to allow the purchase of keys in general. And I think that's the reason I didn't put it here, because we have the quest one in there. So one of the rules is all quest items can be purchased with rubles via the trader, only if currently on the task with the sole intention to be used for the task only. So let's think about something here. A one-use marked key could technically be used for customs when we have to mark the marked room. So could I also purchase a marked key that is 10 of 10, but still use it for the task, and then I would still have the item? How does that play out? Do we want to skew the rules for our own financial gain, or do we want to be truly hardcore about it? I'm going to be honest with you, in almost 600 raids in PvE, I found 2 marked keys. One was for the marked room on Lighthouse, which I don't have a damn clue how to get over there without having the, what is it called, the DSP. And then I found one for the abandoned factory, which can't really run streets, so that was an unfortunate situation. So we could, if we find a marked key that is one of the non-favorable ones, maybe we could trade it out. Maybe we could sell it in the flea market, be able to buy another one. We could have some sort of kind of rule like that. But as of right now, that is the rules for uncut and hardcore, and we'll have to make adjustments accordingly as we start to play things out. But yeah, definitely some stuff in there to help me out and make it less hardcore. That is simply so I do not get upset while recording the episode. And last thing we have on the list for today, we're at 1 hour and 20 minutes. That's not bad. There hasn't been a single error. I literally talked for the last 81 minutes without a problem, without any cuts. So I can feel the voice going out. So this is a pretty good time to be wrapping it up anyway. Last thing is shorts. I'm going to try to upload like 3 shorts a week, maybe more. The max will be 1 a day. On my Acez Plays channel, I have uploaded shorts. I've experimented a lot with them, and I can never truly figure it out. It seems like the algorithm always changes. Sometimes I've done 6 a day, sometimes I've done 1 a day, and I've never been able to truly figure it out. So what has been working pretty well, what I've seen Stankrat, what's worked for him, has been 1 short a day, 1 TikTok a day. I don't really fuck with the TikTok stuff. So when it comes to YouTube Shorts, I've uploaded, no more than 1 a day. And all the shorts that we have uploaded since PvE came out have all gotten over 4,000 views. So they've been doing pretty well, and I'm happy with it. As for the conversion rate for subscribers, it has not been doing well. So I'm not really sure how we could do both, get a lot of views and get a lot of new subscribers, but I need to do more. I need to continue to post shorts in case we do have one that goes viral. It's unlikely, but it's possible. I have 2 of them over 10,000 views, and they've both done pretty good. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at with that. And that's pretty much what I have for you in this episode of the PvE podcast, the podcast versus everyone. Guys, I do appreciate you so much. You know this, and I do actually hate ending these podcasts because I feel like, we could sit here and talk for hours. You guys could, for the ones that really fuck with me, the ones that really like the podcast style content, listening, long drives, or bored as hell at work, whatever. I hate to wrap it up on you and you not have something to listen to. You have 70 some episodes of Uncut and Unheard you could listen to in the background if you really wanted to, if you haven't been caught up or you haven't been watching that series. But as for the PvE podcast, it's going to be the last of it for this episode here today. I do appreciate you. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Make sure you're subscribing. And make sure you're heading over to the thank you for 25,000 subscribers video because we are running a stash-based giveaway. 28 winners. 14 winners for the U.S. region. 14 winners for the EU region. So make sure you guys are checking that out and doing those requirements so you can get involved in that. And yeah, that's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for stopping by for the 3rd episode of the PvE podcast. I will see you in the next one. I'm out.